The Kootenay, British Columbia housing situation is crazy right now. Here's a market update for February 2026. If your home isn't getting showings right now, it's not because it's a bad house. If you listed in January and things feel slow, it's not because buyers have disappeared. And if you're sitting there thinking, why is nothing happening when prices are still high? You're not crazy. But the market is doing something very unusual right now. Sales across the Kootenay region are down 26.3% year over year. Dollar volume is down nearly 32%, and yet prices have barely moved. That doesn't normally happen, and this is what I call a volume collapse without a price collapse. And if you're thinking about selling in Fernie, Sparwood, Cranbrook, Kimberley, or Invermere, this matters more than you think. Today I'm breaking down exactly what's happening, hyperlocal, and why your showings might be super slow right now, even though values are still holding tight. Let's get into this. According to the January 2026 Interior Realtors Real Estate Statistics of the Kootenay region, January 2026 data, okay? This is straight up data. For the Kootenay region, sales were 123 units. That is down 26.3%. Dollar volume is down 31.9%. Inventory is essentially flat. New listings are up 9.7%. So what does this mean in plain English? Fewer buyers are pulling the trigger, but sellers are still listing. That creates a little bit of tension. Now let's zoom in by property type. Alrighty, single family housing in the whole Kootenay region, sales are down 30.1%. Benchmark price is $569,700. Prices actually up 2.5%. Days to sell down 18%. That is not a crash. That's a hesitation. Townhouse, what are they doing? Sales are down 14.3%. Prices are basically flat. Condos, the sales are actually up 10%. Prices slightly down 1.2%. This is not a collapsing market. It's a confidence issue. And here's where it gets a little bit crazy. Some towns had 0 single-family home sales in January. Fernie, Sparwood, Caslow, Radium, 0. But the benchmark prices didn't collapse. So how can both be true? Let's break it down town by town. So in Fernie, single-family benchmark pricing is $926,000. Sales in January, 0. Nada. And that number scares people. But remember, January is historically slow. What matters more is our listings building, our buyers writing, our price reductions increasing. Fernie sellers right now are holding price expectations. Buyers are waiting for clarity, and that's a standoff. And when both sides wait, showings feel slow. In Sparwood, single family benchmark pricing is $520,300. Sales in January, 0. But condos, 3 sales. That's up 50%. That tells us that something important is happening. Entry-level product is moving. Move-up homes are stalling. And why? Affordability is hitting the ceiling. Sparwood sellers in the $550 to $650 range, you're competing for a smaller buyer pool right now. What's going on in Cranbrook, you may ask? Well, single-family houses sales are actually up 33%. Benchmark is flat at $516,900. Cranbrook is behaving differently. And this is because Cranbrook has more economic diversity, more inventory depth, less lifestyle premium pricing pressure, and Cranbrook is the stabilizer in these Kootenays. But even there, volume is thinner than in peak years. Kimberley, sales are down 66.7%. Benchmark basically unchanged. This is classic ski town psychology. Buyers love Kimberley, but discretionary purchases, those pause first. Vacation buyers hesitate. longer than necessity buyers. Invermere, what's going on there? Single family benchmark price, $712,800, minimal sales. Invermere behaves similarly to Fernie, lifestyle, premium, discretionary capital, and discretionary capital waits when rates feel uncertain. So what does this really mean? Well, tell you what, if you're a seller and your showings feel slow, here's what's actually happening. It's not that buyers don't exist. It's that buyers are comparing longer, waiting for rate clarity, demanding stronger value, avoiding emotional bidding. That frenzy is gone. We are in a rational market right now, and rational markets feel slow compared to irrational markets of 21 and 2022. So why aren't the housing prices dropping? And now this is the key part. Why haven't prices fallen if sales have collapsed, stalled, stopped? There's three reasons. One, inventory is not exploding. Active listings barely moved. Two, sellers aren't panicking. Most owners in Fernie and Invermere especially, low mortgage rates, strong equity positions, and not distressed. And three, lifestyle demand still exists. Alberta migration hasn't disappeared. It's just cautious. So what we have is low urgency on both sides, and that creates a gridlock. What is this telling us in this market? This is not 2008. This is not a crash. It's a market recalibration after artificial urgency in ski towns especially. Buyers don't buy because they have to, they buy because they want to. So what happens next? Well, in spring of 2026, it's going to be very decisive. If rates hold steady, the Alberta economy remains stable, and inventory doesn't surge, we likely will see modest volume recovery, not price spikes, not crashes. But here's the risk. If new listings continue rising faster than sales, price pressure starts. Showing by late spring, right now we're in a neutral zone. So what should a seller do right now? If you're thinking about selling in Fernie, Sparwood, Cranbrook, Kimberley, Invermere, here's the strategy that you need to use. You need to price it correctly on day one. This market punishes overpricing immediately. Watch your first 14 days. That's when you capture serious buyers. You've got to be realistic about 2022 comps. That market is gone. Okay, you need to understand that your buyer pool right now is paying attention and they're not panicking. Very patient. Entry level moves faster than luxury. Primary residence move faster than discretionary vacation homes. And the common seller mistake right now is sellers are saying, I'm going to list high and I'm going to see what I can get and let's see what happens. Well, I'm going to tell you what happens. I'm going to look into the crystal ball. I'm going to say nothing, zero, nada, silence. Your house is not going to get shown. And then you're going to reduce your price. And then there's going to be stigma attached to that. In a thin volume market, precision matters more than ever. You got to get your pricing right. You got to be factual. Let the numbers do the talking. So the Kootenay housing market situation isn't crashing. It isn't booming. It's just recalibrating. Sales are down sharply. Prices are sticky. Buyers are super cautious right now. And sellers are firm. That creates some friction, and friction feels like nothing is happening. But behind the scenes, the market is repositioning for the spring. So if you're thinking about selling this year, don't rely on the headlines. Please do not. We live in a very specific area of this world. Every town behaves differently. Every price bracket behaves differently. And the difference between pricing correctly and pricing emotionally right now can mean tens of thousands of dollars. If you want a hyper-local breakdown of your specific neighborhood, your pricing band, your competition, your realistic buyer pool, book a seller strategy session with me. We'll map it out properly, we'll have a look, and we'll get in the dirt. Because in a market like this, strategy is going to beat optimism. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.